The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome once again to the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series here on LSRTV. Tonight, it's the Go Bowling 200. 33 drivers have come to race in tonight's event, and it's going to be a close contested race up on that high side. Joining me tonight is Brett Wheeler in the second chair of the broadcast booth, and Cisco Scaramuza down in the production holler, getting the picture you see to you tonight. Brett, I want to welcome you into the booth. And first time I'm getting the pleasure to work with you, so it's going to be an interesting night.
Yeah, very first time that we've been working together, so it should be an interesting night, not only for us here in the broadcast, but also on track as well.
Qualifying underway right now. We're just past the halfway point in the qualifying session. Jamie Walker on the pole with a 30.195, and as I talk about him, he is also United Sim Racing points leader. 241 points coming into tonight. An 18-point gap back to Scott Simley, and then 24 points back to Greg Mall. He is yet to win this year, but he is the points leader. He's got 1 pole, 3 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. So he's been very consistent, just like he was last year. Didn't get that many wins. I don't believe he did get any, if my memory serves correctly, but he was one of the more consistent drivers, Brett, and that's one of the things you got to kind of do if you're going to race for a championship.
Yeah, it's obviously nice to get those wins, but, if you can get those consistent results, top 5s, top 10s, you're really going to make your mark on a championship, especially when you're gathering those points, especially, over a certain amount of rounds in a championship. You want to gather as many points as you can each round and go towards that championship.
We're at round 8 here on the schedule. Daytona, we started off, Riley Thompson was your winner, then Atlanta, Ashton Crowder, Justin Michael won in Vegas. And then Justin Michael won in Phoenix during a technicality. Greg Mall ended up winning in Auto Club 10. Matthews won at Texas and Talladega. Scott Formosa won the race. We've had a few different winners. So that means this championship is really wide open. That's 18 points. If Jamie Walker has one bad finish, it's going to be broken wide open for drivers like Scott Simley, Greg Mall, Bobby Terrell, and Aaron Bennett. It's your top 5 drivers. What we're closing in on qualifying, and Brett, Kansas, it's one of those interesting racetracks. Usually on the iRacing service, you want to run right there around the bottom. Here at Kansas, that top line is the most dominant.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do, especially getting up and close and personal with that outside wall. It's something that you have to take care. You got to take care of your equipment as well. You don't want to be burning up your tires too early on. But also, you got to worry about that outside wall. If you get into that wall, not only are you going to slap, but if you got a freight train of cars behind you, it can be there to cause a lot of carnage.
25 drivers taking time so far here in qualifying. Your 25th qualifier, Shane Hawther, with a 31.344. So he's kind of banking it and trying to start near the back, I do believe. We've still got a few cars yet to take time. Drivers like Randy Tesser, Michael Warren, Michael Atkins Jr., Aaron Bennett have yet to get on the racetrack. Aaron Bennett was second in practice, had a little bit of trouble getting back into the session. He's back in now, so hopefully he will be able to join the grid for qualifying and get a decent finish. Christopher Hurlow out on track in the number 14 Old Spice Toyota Tundra. He is completing lap number 1, I do believe, for qualifying. So he comes around the start-finish line at 30.488 for that driver out of Ohio. He comes home in 21st. He's going to be one and done. Lap number 2 is not going to be faster here. At most like most of the mile and a halves here on the NASCAR schedule. So he's going to park it and take the qualifying position he will get. Jamie Walker is still your provisional pole sitter, that 30.195. As qualifying ends, he will be your pole sitter. 26 drivers taking time out of the 34 who are in the session. As these drivers come to grid, we're going to give you your grid in just a moment. But Brett, I'm pretty excited for this race. Kansas usually produces some of the best finishes we've seen because drivers do run that high side and they end up smacking that wall.
As I said, it's you've got to be inch perfect here, especially when you run that outside wall. You don't want to be too high up to where you're actually going to run into the wall and have those guys behind you just drive by you on the bottom if you do get into the wall. But it's going to be an exciting race. I can't wait to see what Jamie Walker has to offer. I believe this is now his second pole of his series, so we'll see if he can put that car in victory lane later tonight.
See drivers form up on the grid. They're going to form up behind the pace car. We're going to go to your LSRTV starting grid. On the pole, as we said, with a 30.195 is Jamie Walker. Bobby Terrell in the number 24 is going to roll off in second. On the outside lane, row number 1, Joshua Susie in that number 3 spot in the number 81. Ashton Crowder in fourth. Ricky Howell Jr. in that 5th spot. Jason Jacoby with a 30.284 in that 6th spot. Riley Thompson in 7th. Jeffrey Ford in the number 95 is going to roll off in 8th. Scott Formosa in the number 9 position. Greg Mall will roll off in 10th. Here's your winner from California.
Yeah, Justin Michael will start position number 11, and on his outside is going to be Michael Waters. Michael Waite will start position number 13 out of 14. It's going to be George Hendricks. Out of 15 will be Justin Kleber. Chris Cabot will start 16th, 17th will be Robert Gillenwater. Scott Simley will start position 18. We go into your 10th row, which is going to be Dwayne Dunn and Lewis Robinette.
Christopher Hurlow in the number 14 coming off a 1-race suspension. He's going to hope to get a good finish here at Kansas. Dylan Phillips in that number 77 is going to roll off in 22nd. The 23rd starter is Seth Foudy in that number 22. Jeff Ryan in the 8 will roll off in 24th. 25th. It's going to be Ryan Steenbackers in the 25th spot in the number 79. Shane Hawther, Randy Tesser. You're going to be your first drivers to not take time in qualifying. Michael Atkins Jr. in 28th. Michael Priester in the 29th spot. Aaron Bennett in the 30th spot. He ends up getting into the session, so he will start the race. Brian Cutts in 31st. Michael Warren in that 32nd spot. Ralph Vandervoort in the 33rd position. And rolling shotgun on the field is Stephen Herring in the number 98.
As these drivers rolling out of pit lane, and as I said, Jamie Walker, for the second time in the series, is going to start on the pole alongside Bobby Terrell. And look, it's going to be one of these races where hopefully we get quite a lot of green flag running, and I think those green flag pit stops are going to be very, very crucial here.
Bobby Terrell is running 4th in points, 24 points behind the driver on the pole's position, so he's going to hope to gain a few points here on him here at Kansas. As they roll into turn number 3, final thoughts before green. I'm looking forward to a good race, competitive race, but these drivers are going to have to take it easy. And one thing to look out for is those marbles on the top side of the racetrack, they will start to form. It'll be just a little bit less because the drivers are going to run up high, but if you do get up into that soft stuff on the outside, it's going to be really trouble for you running that outside lane. That new Ford Mustang pace car, it's finally back for the Oval Series. Is going to pull onto pit road. 17 of Jamie Walker for the second time this year is going to lead him to the green.
And a good start there too for Jamie Walker, leaving the field probably by about 4 or 5 car lengths right now, maybe a little bit more. And so he's going to lead us into turn number 1, but it's going to be Bobby Terrell in that 24, but it's now going to be the 27 of Ashton Crowder. He's going to move up into 3rd right alongside, or right in behind, the 81 of Joshua Suki.
Outside lane not spelling good for the initial start, so that's going to be one thing to look out for. But here he comes. He's coming back on the inside. Joshua Suki in that number 81 Army Toyota Tundra. He's going to duck to that apron. We're going to see that a lot here tonight. Drivers trying to get that advantage on the apron of the racetrack. Not going to happen that time, but he is going to move up into that 3rd spot. And meanwhile, Jamie Walker in that number 17 is pulling away, and he's going to lead lap number 1 last time by.
Ricky Howell Jr. is now going to move on to the inside of the 27 of Ashton Crowder. And this is a battle for 4th spot at the moment right now. They are side by side. But Jason Jacoby, I believe he may have just got into the wall just a little bit there, coming off of turn number 2 last time by. And that's obviously going to lose him a spot back into that 6th spot. But it's going to be Ricky Howell Jr. in that 5th spot. But now the 1 of Jason Jacoby. They almost run side by side as he's going to get into the wall yet again.
Trying to run that outside lane, but the 18 is going to pinch him up there. So he's going to end up falling back to where he was before. Ricky Howell Jr. in that number 18 solidly in that top 5 position. 4 now, right behind them, Riley Thompson in that number 56 is going to try to get up inside the top 5, but he's got Jeffrey Ford right behind him, or excuse me, that's Justin Michael in the number 87 right behind him. He's got, looks like Jeffrey Ford behind him, but very close racing so far up here. And meanwhile up front, Jamie Walker, he's been caught by Joshua Suki in that number 81 Toyota Tundra. It's going to be a battle for the lead as they go into turn number 3.
the back of the field too. Majority, probably the top, say 15 to 16 cars are all pretty much single file up the top. There's only that one car that is running on the bottom inside the top 15, and that is your, I believe, his 6th place running of Jason Jacoby. It may even be the 18 of Ricky Howell Jr. as well, just as we go back up towards the front. I was looking back towards the back of the pack. There was a couple of 2, nearly 3 wide battles as well. So, look, battles forming all over the racetrack right now.
Last time by, change for the lead. That number 81 moves into the top spot. That's going to put 17 of Jamie Walker into that second position behind that number 81 as they come through turns 3 and 4. He led last time by, so he's going to lead this second lap in a row. Bobby Terrell still under fire behind him from Ashton Crowder in the 27.
Ricky Howell Jr. in that 5th spot, battling still. Or just, I wouldn't say battling, but now just trying to form a little bit of a drive team to try and catch the 4 cars in front. It's looking like that the drive effect may have to be a little bit of an effective advantage here if they are to catch those guys at the front.
And one thing you look at all throughout the pack, drivers moving to the top side of the racetrack, you talk about it not being a battle, it really isn't. And as I look right there, a battle forth between the 1 and the 87. He did not get to the bottom quick enough, and that 87 moves to the inside, but that momentum is going to carry Jason Jacoby in that number 1 machine. But look at everybody. It's just like running the inside of the racetrack. It's the dominant line, and everybody's up top. It's just like being on the bottom side. If anybody wants to venture to that bottom side of the racetrack, they're usually going to fall back.
Yeah, that one car that I was talking about earlier on, I was just coming up towards the front of the pack. It was actually the 56 of Riley Thompson. You know, quite a few times in 1 and 2, he's gone to the bottom, but in 3 and 4, he's gone back to the top. So we'll see what he does here. He's going to stay on the top side right now, and he's just sitting there back by himself. He does have the 95 of Jeffrey Ford and the 80 of Scott Formosa closely followed in behind him as well. So look, none of the drivers have really gained up a few spots. We've got a couple of guys that have picked up 2 and 3 spots. We've got Justin Michael, who's actually picked up 4 spots at the moment, and we've only completed we're on lap 8 here at Kansas. Make that lap 9 as they come across the start-finish line.
Looking very far back in the pack is going to be the 3 of Aaron Bennett. He's worked his way from 30th now into that 25th spot, and he's going after 24th, the 77 of Dylan Phillips. He practiced in second, but he did not turn a lap in qualifying, so it's going to be an uphill battle all night for the all 133 laps of tonight's race. But he's working his way up through the field pretty well, but as he works his way past these slower cars, it's going to get more and more difficult for that 3 Bass Pro Shops truck to get up front. He's going to make the move on the 77 to the inside. He's going to make it work, and he's going to be clear by the time they get to turn number 1, hopefully, but it looks like that momentum's coming around. He's going to be clear by the time they get to turn number 1. Right in front of him is Seth Foudy in that number 22 machine. He is up high in points. He's running in 8th, 47 points behind, so he's had 2 top 5s on the year. Those have been his only finishes inside the top 10. He's run very well, but he's not qualified very well. He practiced in 8th, but did not get the qualifying lap that he wanted, so he's making the march up front.
Yeah, just looking at the leaders now, Joshua Sugi is taking over the race lead. Jamie Walker back there in second, so they're now going to run side by side, nearly side by side out of turn number 2. But look, these 2 drivers are starting to pull away from the 3rd place of Bobby Terrell and Ashton Crowder back there in 4th. It's now almost about just over 1.5 seconds, so look, quite a big gap here for early on in the race, and considering we've only just completed 11 laps as they come across the start-finish line this time by.
About a 1 car length between the 2 leaders as they go into turn number 1. It's going to be the outside lane still dominating. Behind them, Bobby Terrell is all by himself there. He's got about a 10th between him and the 27 Ashton Crowder. Behind them, Ricky Howell. So it's pretty much everybody holding station. Justin Michael still has not been able to get around Jason Jacoby in that number 1 Domino's machine. So he's going to stick to that high side and actually running the extreme high side. He's been the highest I've ever seen anybody through tonight's race in the short time we've seen it. But that also shows with the right side damage he does have on that car. So that's one thing, it's kind of feast or famine. You run that high side, you run the risk of pounding it into the outside wall.
Yeah, definitely risk versus reward factor. And it's going to be the 39 of Dwayne Dunn just getting into the wall there in turns 1 and 2 and scrubbed off a whole lot of speed right now. But the guys behind him, they really had to check up. Otherwise, it really could have caused a big accident. You don't want that early on here on lap number 13 here at Kansas Speedway.
Shows how strong that outside lane really is, because he, at a regular racetrack where drivers would run to the inside of the racetrack, he would pretty much be moved outside the top 10 with losing that much momentum. But he sticks to the high side, and everybody up there has to pretty much make the choice to stay up there with him, and he maintains that position.
Yeah, battle on the racetrack here for the 11th and 12th spot between the 56 of Riley Thompson and Michael Waite in the 48. Michael Waite actually went to the inside in turns 1 and 2, pulled up alongside the 56 Riley Thompson there, but couldn't quite make the move and get the run coming off at turn number 2. And that allowed Michael Waters as well to get up on the back bumper bar of the 48 of Michael Waite. So now we see Thompson, he's going to go to the inside now in turns 1 and 2, and that's going to allow Waite to try and move to the outside and gain a bit more of a run here and try to take over that 11th spot.
Watch that momentum coming on the outside. See if he can make the move. He's going to have to commit to one lane. He moves up top. He moves to the bottom. Here he goes for position number 11 going into turn number 3. The momentum is going to carry him to the bottom, but it's not going to be enough by the time they get out of turn number 4. Let's see what's going to happen here. He's going to dive to the inside. He's going to dive to the apron, trying to shorten up that racetrack. He got the position that time by, but I think he's going to get it. Wow, that's actually surprising, making that inside lane work around the 56, so a good job from the 48 machine.
Yeah, Riley Thompson, I think he may have just tagged the wall a little bit down the main straightaway, but the position, the split second was 2 1,000ths of a second between the two as they come across the line, so quite a close gap there for that 11th and 12th spot on the racetrack. But look, now we're going to see a couple of more cars coming into the pit. We've got the 55 of Michael Waters and Robin Gillenwater in car number 4 as well. So there's now actually going to be a 5 car. Scott Simley is going to throw his name into the mix as well. So now we're going to have a 5-car battle for that 11th spot.
While we're watching the battles back in the pack, Jamie Walker actually took the advantage and got around the number 81 machine and has now pulled out to a 1.1 second gap. Looks like Joshua just got a little bit loose coming off of 2 a few laps ago, and that allowed Jamie Walker in that number 17 to get around him. And now here on lap number 18, he is your leader. And Ashton Crowder has actually gotten around the 24, Bobby Terrell as well.
Yeah, Greg Moore in that 12 now. He's going to move up into that 8th spot. He's got Jeffrey Ford in the 95. And right behind him now, Jeffrey Ford's going to look to the inside if he can get the run coming off of turn number 2. No, he can't. He's just going to pull back in line behind that number 12. And they're going to try and run down the back straight away. And they're going to see if they can try and catch a few of the guys just in front. And they're probably about half a second to a second just behind those few couple of cars. There's now still going to be the George Hendricks now in the 34. He's going to dive to the inside of the 95. And now he's going to take over that 9th spot on the racetrack.
That's what we're seeing now is a trend. Drivers we've got a battle somewhere on the racetrack. Oh, looks like we got Crowder making a move for that 2nd spot. Didn't see it on the racetrack, but now we had a little notification there. That 81 looks like he's just worn out his tires because he was caught by both the 27 and the 24. And now Crowder is going to move into that 2nd spot here on lap number 20. So that 81 is fading for the time being.
Yeah, almost just touching the wall there in turns 1 and 2. So he's now going to fall off a little bit more to the 27 of Ashton Crowder. And it's the gap between Jamie Walker, who is your race leader, and Ashton Crowder is 2 seconds, 2.001. So Jamie Walker right now is looking the goods, fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, and so far at the moment, he's the fastest car on the racetrack that I can see. And look, he's doing a fantastic job, but it's going to be Ashton Crowder. He's actually reeled him in by half a tenth there. So look, don't count out Ashton Crowder just yet. It's still early on in the race, plenty of laps to go, and anything can happen here in the iRacing.
Ashton Crowder wheeling that truck out of the Josh Berry Racing stables. He's now cut it down to 1.9 seconds here on lap number 21. Let's see what the gap's going to be this time by. We're also going to have to check the lap time fall off from these drivers. Looks like almost more than a second now as they cross the stripe last time by. A 0.2 of a second gain from Ashton Crowder, so he is catching him. The question is, can he catch him before we get the pit stops? That's one thing we saw at Texas also. For this USR series, drivers pulling the strategy game. It's one thing these drivers in this truck series are really good at, is pulling the strategy and making the pit stops work in their favor.
Yeah, now we see the 81 of Joshua Suzuki now actually got into the wall down the back straight away. That allowed the 1 and also the 24, Bobby Terrell and Jason Jacoby, to move in front. But now it's going to be Joshua Suzuki again moving to the outside of Jason Jacoby by 4 1,000ths of a second. So look, it's now a 3-car battle for positions 3 on the racetrack.
That number 81 losing time there on the top side of the racetrack. Jason Jacoby is going to move up into that 4th spot by the time they get into turn number 3. Looks like, just behind them, Justin Michael. He's going to get spun. He's going to hang on to it 3 wide for a second with Greg Mall and Ricky Howell Jr. I'm going to try and get the replay for you if we can, if we have enough time. But looks like he pulled the slide job on that 18 machine. And he just timed it wrong and ended up getting into the front bumper of the 18 of Ricky Howell Jr. He did a very good job of saving it, but he's going to lose a little bit of momentum and get a little bit damage from the front bumper of that 18 machine.
Tell you what, Gary, this 27 of Ashton Crowder is really starting to reel in Jamie Walker right now. He is certainly he's certainly on a fast truck underneath him. It is now 1.1 seconds. So, man, Jamie Walker, I don't know whether his tyres are rubbed off or whether he's actually looking down at the relative just to see how much time he is actually losing, because now, you think about it, it's been about 4 or 5 laps, and he's really in almost a full second, realistically 9/10 there, and he's certainly reeling him in.
Battle continuing around the 87 of Justin Michael. He just got back around that number 18 of Ricky Howell Jr. Looks like Ricky Howell's not going to contest that position. They come by the stripe this time here on lap number 25. Still side by side for them. A little bit farther back, we still got a huge battle between, looks like through about 11th through 15th. They're 3 wide between the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, the 55, Michael Waters. They're racing very hard for those final few positions inside the top 15.
And the 4 as well of Robin Gillenwater. He's actually right up on the wall right now. He's going to try and dive in the back, but also here comes a 48 of Michael Wade as well, so he's throwing his name into the mix. So now we've got 4 cars, 2 rows, side by side, and it's going to be the 48 moving to the inside of the 55 of Michael Waters, and that's going to give Michael Waite that 12th spot on the racetrack. But now also here comes Scott Sibley as well in that car number 68. He is making the bottom side work. He's passed 2 cars on the inside of turn number 2, looking for that passing that 3rd car within half a lap.
Scott Simley second in points, trying to catch the 17 of Jamie Walker to make up as many positions as he can. Practice 21st, qualified 18th, now in 14th. Drivers starting to come to pit road now. We got a few coming down. Looked like maybe the 3 of Aaron Bennett was not. A couple of drivers choosing to short pit. As I said, a few of these drivers do like changing up the strategy on their competitors. Meanwhile, back up front, Ashton Crowder, he's cut that gap to down under a second. So he's going for win number 2 on the year. He's going to try and catch that 17 of Jamie Walker. Jason Jacoby, 4 seconds back. So it's just a 2-horse race at the moment. So we've got 1 lap car trying to race. Looks like he's on new tires, trying to race and get around the 27 of Ashton Crowder. That's the 04 of Brian Cutts, 2 laps down. And that gap's steadily coming down. It's 0.8 of a second last time by.
You just wonder if Jamie Walker's actually going to be pitting within the next couple of laps. And as I say that, he's actually going to dive right to the apron right now, and he's going to choose to go into the pits. And the 27 of Ashton Crowder is actually going to follow him. He's also both the leaders. They're going to choose to go into pit lane right now.
That's going to put Jason Jacoby in the number 1 Domino's machine into the lead. The 2 lead drivers come down to pit road, and we're going to have a battle for the lead here in maybe this lap, because the 12 of Greg Mall, your winner from Auto Club Speedway, he's contesting that lead spot for the position 4th after pit stops, but it's for the lead right now. So they're both going to run that high side. It's going to be a wonder how long these guys are going to wait to pit, because every lap they stay on the racetrack, they're going to lose about a second in time to the leaders.
Yeah, so Jason Jacoby is Jason Jacoby, I should say, is going to lead his second lap in a row, lap number 31, as they come across the line. Greg Moore not too far behind him, 0.182, and then they go back to George Hendricks in the 34 car, who started position number 14, but obviously due to those leaders pitting and him staying out, he's actually behind the leads by 5 seconds. So look, there's quite a big gap there at the moment. We'll see what kind of gap difference happens when all these top front running drivers pit.
Jamie Walker and Ashton Crowder both coming down to pit road, and now they are off of pit road. The gaps come down yet again, so it's got about half a second between the 2 of them as they're racing 16th or 17th and 18th respectively at the moment, working their way around the 3 of Aaron Bennett. Back up front, still, it's a hard race as drivers on new tires are avoiding the leaders. Jason Jacoby now choosing to come down to pit road in the number 1 machine. He's going to lock him up. I think he made it. I think he he was close, but I think he made the pit speed limit by the time he got to the commitment cone. It's going to leave Greg Maul back on the racetrack. He is your leader for the time being. Scott Simley also on pit road, along with Seth Foudy and Aaron Bennett and Christopher Hurlow, also coming to the attention of their crews.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on the 7M Jamie Walker, who was the early race leaders, now racing himself back onto the lead lap due to those leaders now pitting as well. So we'll see what position he is going to be in when he comes by the start-finish line this time by. So they're going to complete lap number 32, and Jamie Walker is going to find himself in that 9th spot. So maybe still a couple of few drivers still to come out and pit just yet.
Christopher Hurlow among the other drivers coming off of pit road now. Greg Maul coming to his pit stall. Jason Jacoby leaving now, and Randy Tesser in the 69 also coming onto pit road. But these are going to be the last of your drivers to come down and pit. That's going to move 17 of Jamie Walker into the lead. If not this lap, the next few laps after these drivers cycle back around. He's in second at the moment, 21 seconds behind Greg Maul in the number 12. But that's going to change as Greg Maul just now coming off of pit road. So that is now going to move Ashton Crowder back into that second spot. That lead's grown just a little bit. I think it's about 9/10 of a second. So look to see Ashton Crowder Jamie Walker get pulled just a little bit here in these next few laps, because he is good on fresh tires. But wait for Ashton Crowder to save his tires and make a run for it like he did last time.
Yeah, well, Jamie Walker was good on those fresh tires, but the longer that they went with that green flag run, Ashton Crowder he was very fast, especially on those older tires. So as I said, we'll see what they can do as the 69 car. He's going to get put another lap down, or one lap down. That's going to be Randy Testa now, who's fallen back to, I believe, about in the mid-20s right now. But there it is. Still going to be Jamie Walker leading yet another lap number 35 that was, as the gap is 0.925 a second back to Ashton Crowder in that 27 machine. Bobby Terrell back there in third by nearly 4 seconds. And we go back to Ricky Howell Jr. and Joshua Suki.
One more driver, Justin Michael, he's moved back to the 8th position, so he's one of the big losers on that round of pit stops. Don't know if he had a bad entry or missed his pit stall, but he loses a few positions and a lot of time. That's going to be the advantage of Jeffrey Ford in the number 95. That Monster Energy Chevy Silverado now moves into that 7th spot. He started 8th. He's now under attack from that 87 machine as they come by the stripe this time by to complete lap number 36. Right in front of them, Robert Gillenwater. There's a lap car between them, but now it's Robert Gillenwater in the number 4 machine in 6th. Right in front of them, Joshua Suki, just talked about him, 7 seconds behind in that 5th spot.
And a couple of big movers through the field is going to be Robert Gillenwater from 17th to 6th. Then we've also got we got the 64 there of Michael Priestar from 29th to 15th. We also got Seth Foodie from 23rd to 14th, and Aaron Bennett from 30th to 16th. So these long green flag runs is helping those guys at the back work their way forward as well.
Jamie Walker continuing to lead tonight's race. That gap's kind of stagnated now. It was about 0.8 of a second a few laps ago. Still at it, 8.5. Now growing to just under 1 second between Ashton Crowder and Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker, like we just said a second ago, he's using those new tires to his advantage, but you got to be careful. You have to learn from your mistakes and racing hard, because if you don't, Ashton Crowder is going to be right up your tailpipe in the next few laps.
Yeah, one thing that Jamie Walker sort of has to accommodate for right now is due to this long green flag run, is that he's going to be passing some cars as well, and that's something that he didn't have to deal with in those first sort of 20 to 25 laps. He had a clear track, he had an open track in front of him, and now due to those lap cars, that just might slow him up a bit, and that could work to Ashton Crowder's advantage as well.
Drivers complete lap number 40 on to 41 here in the next few seconds. We're going to take a break here on LSRTV and be right back with the Go Bowling 200 at Kansas Speedway. We'll be right back.
So cool, yeah. Nate, what are you working on at the moment?
So I'm working on the animation for the game. We're working on getting pit crews fully developed, and that involves a lot of moving parts. So I'm going in and making sure that each moving part can dovetail smoothly into the next one, so that when you pull in for a pit stop, it looks like the real thing, as opposed to a bunch of jumbled pieces that suddenly stop and then go and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, but why aren't you working on the time model? Nothing?
Back here live at Kansas Speedway under caution. We went almost or over 40 laps without a caution, but it's going to come out for the 66 of Ralph Vandervoorts. We're going to try and find the cause of the caution, see what happened to him. He just got caught up into the wall. They're trying to find the replay, but Cisco has it up for you guys. Everybody coming on the pit road now. They're going to take the advantage and get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and a full tank of fuel. Jamie Walker is going to lead them down the pit road. They're in their pit stalls now. Let's see who's going to lead the race off of pit road. Jamie Walker will be your leader, and the 27 Ashton Crowder is going to lead them off in second.
Yeah, not too long ago, say about 10 or 12 laps ago, we've seen quite a few of these drivers come into pit lane to get those fresh set of tyres and also fill up the fuel tank as well. So thankfully, due to that caution, is going to come back. It's going to punch the field back up, but it's also going to give a chance here for Ashton Crowder to be right alongside the 17 of Jamie Walker. So we'll see what Crowder can do off this restart for when we go back green. And it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously we know Jamie Walker is very fast on those newer tyres, but Ashton Crowder, if he can just stay with him and as if they can get another long period of green flag run here, I think Ashton Crowder may have something here for Jamie Walker.
While these drivers are pacing around the pace car, I want to take advantage of the caution and talk to you about our series sponsor, B&C Lawn and Landscaping Services, LLC, based in Frankfort, Delaware. Check out B&C for all your landscaping needs, including turf care, mulching, snow removal, and more. Professional license and insured. Contact Aaron Bennett at BC_lawn_and_landscaping at yahoo.com. This is the right time of year to get that snow removal. I know Aaron's got a new plow on the front of his truck. I do believe I saw that on Facebook. So he is ready to get some work done in the Northeast. Talking about Aaron Bennett, he's moved up into the 14th position from that 30th spot. He was in 16th a few laps ago. But that number 30 machine is now in 14th. Doing a good job working his way through the field with only 1 caution. So he's done all that moving on green flag running.
Yeah, he's had quite a good series so far. So just pulling up the points, he's as you said earlier on, he's had 7 starts and 3 top 5s. He's had 2 poles as well. So look, he's been the man to sort of beat in qualifying. But it'd be interesting to see to try and get a chat with him to see how come he didn't actually go and qualify, because had he had qualified, I think, as you said, he was second in practice. He could have had something for Jamie Walker and those guys up the front of the field. He really could have shaken this thing up a little bit more.
I do believe I was talking to him before the race. The servers on iRacing are going through a little bit of maintenance, I do believe, around this time, about an hour ago, and he exited out to try and get his connection under control and could not get in for the longest time, so he actually missed qualifying and wanted to start in the back, I do believe, to kind of keep himself safe, but it looks like the connection is stable, so he will run out the rest of tonight's race in 14th right now. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but he has been the cleanest driver in at least the top 10, top 15. You know, the average incident rating is about 4.0, 4.1. He's had a 1.9 incident rating, only 13 incidences through 7 races so far coming into the night. So he's been the cleanest driver coming up through the field. So that's a championship run if I've ever seen it. Just make it to the end of the race, make sure you get as many points as you can.
And well, there is an old saying, to finish first you must finish, and that's exactly what he's doing. So, I mean, you know, and he's doing it clean, which is another thing that is going for him as well. So, look, we'll keep an eye on the number 3 car here of Aaron Bennett. As I said, he's up to 14th, and due to this caution, it's now going to bunch the field back up. So, look, there's a potential top 10 here looming in the next probably, I'd say maybe 10 or 15 laps if you can work it out. Yeah,
you got to keep in mind he practiced fast enough to qualify in 3rd, so he's got the speed under him. Green flag back in the air here at Kansas after lap number 48 for a single car incident under the caution. We're back underway here in the Gold Bowling 200. Jamie Walker gets a good restart, goes into one, running that bottom side. And for the first time, we've seen Ashton Crowder, the outside driver on the restart, actually gets a decent restart. You saw Bobby Terrell lose a few positions off the initial start. That is not the case for that 27 machine. Speaking of Bobby Terrell, he's moved up from 5th now, coming after 4th. At 81 of Joshua Suki in that number 81 Army machine. Coming off of turn number 4, got a little bit of contact between the 18 of Ricky Howe Jr. and the 24. They're going to end up solving it. He's going to pin him down to the inside of the racetrack. It's getting dicey up front.
The 87 of Justin Michael was pushing on the back bumper bar of Ricky Howe Jr. and that allowed him to pull up alongside Bobby Terrell. And as I said, there was just a slight bit of contact, not too much, but enough to sort of unsettle the 18 of Ricky Howe. But now Justin Michael, he's going to fall up in behind Bobby Terrell. No, sorry, other way around. Terrell's going to fall up in behind Ricky Howe Jr. right there. So I do believe it's maybe it could be an iRacing server.
Looks like the connection issues are happening for iRacing again. We're going to call the race as we see it so far, as iRacing is going to try to solve the connection issue. It looks like it's already solved itself as drivers are back solid again. Jamie Walker and the 17, they're discussing it over the radio. Looks like it's okay now. Everybody's connection is coming back. So Jamie Walker continue as your leader. Ashton Crowder is actually catching him now in that second spot. That number 27 is going to move into that first spot if he can take the advantage of these new tires and actually run them down. Behind him, the 81 of Joshua Suki yet again running in third. It's pretty much the third best car. We've seen him, race up front hard for the first few laps. I think he's trying to save his tires because that first stint, he made the mistake of racing too hard.
Definitely, but look, just to go back through the back of the pack now, we spoke about him before, Aaron Bennett. He started 30th. He's now made his way up into that 10 spot. So, look, a lot quicker than what I thought. I believe it's maybe about 3 laps. I said about 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 laps. He could find his way inside of a top 10. But look, he's really on the move right now, and he's almost on the back bumper bar of the 12 car, which is Greg Moll, and he started out 10th. He's actually practiced 32nd. He's already picked up a win here in the Truck Series at the moment. But look, Aaron Bennett, he's fast. He's coming on strong, and I'll tell you what, if we can have another long green flag run here, I reckon that 3 is certainly going to move forward.
He is your biggest mover so far from 30th to 10th. The runner-up for that award probably has to be the number 04 of Brian Cutts. He was 2 laps down a few laps ago, and he's now moved into that 17th spot. He started 31st, and he was a couple laps down, but he's doing very well now. So hats off to both those drivers making it work and not giving up here in the early stages of tonight's race. Closing in on halfway, but still not there yet, and still a long way to go for both these drivers up front and everybody on the lead lap. Jamie Walker still your leader there on lap number 54. So he completed lap number 53, but Ashton Crowder is now pulled to the back bumper of that 17.
0.131 of a second as they come across the start-finish line. That time by that's complete lap number 53. It's still Jamie Walker from Ashton Crowder. They go back to Joshua Suzuki in that Carter Brady one. I believe might have just touched the wall there. It could have been on mine there, but he's running in third spot and doing a solid job in third spot as well. Just holding off the 18, who's probably about 6/10 off here. And that's going to be Ricky Howe Jr. You go back to Bobby Terrell, Justin Michael, and Scott Simley as well.
Drivers back up front. Ashton Crowder is going to go after it again. Connection kind of messes up, so he's going to do the smart thing and back off. 27 still, he's proven to be faster than that 17 of Jamie Walker if he can get the momentum and get around him. Looking back through the field. Looks like the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. He is going to battle on the inside with the 1 and the number 22 of Seth Fowdy, Jason Jacoby in that number 1 machine. That is 12th, 13th, and 14th, respectively. Michael Waters right behind them looking to capitalize on any mistakes, as well as Riley Thompson in that number 56. Right in front of them, Michael Wyatt in that number 48 machine. He is running in 11th in front of them. As we talked about him before, Aaron Bennett in the number 10. It's kind of sorted out here as we're watching these drivers, but Aaron Bennett's pulled to the back bumper of Greg Mall in that number 12 car, or 12 truck, I should say. Right in front of them is that number 4 machine of Robert Gillenwater. So Aaron Bennett, he's got a very fast truck. I'm not sure if he has enough to contend with the leaders up front, but he's a shoe-in for maybe a top 5.
Yeah, he's trying to get those consistent points, and I was just looking through the sort of the top 15, 20 trucks at the moment. Jeffrey Ford in the 95, and now along with the 22, Seth Fowdy, they're the only drivers running the middle part in the turns 1, 2, and 3, and 4. All the rest of the guys are right up alongside the wall, but now we see the 22, Seth Fowdy, actually moved to the inside of the 48, I do believe that is, of Michael Waite. So now it's going to find Michael Waite back into 12th, and Seth Fowdy finding his way into the 11th spot, and look, not too far away from the guys inside the top 10.
Driver still fighting. Seth Fowdy gets around him for that 11th spot. Now he's going to go after the top 10. That 10th place driver of Aaron Bennett. A couple more battles around. Looks like we got a little bit of a battle around 19th, 20th, and 21st. Shane Hawthor trying to find it. Christopher Hurlow. Then number 14, he is 1 lap down. First car 1 lap down. That number 11 is Shane Hawthor trying to get around him. Right in front of him is the 64, Michael Priester. Everybody just kind of riding, waiting for the next pit stop, waiting for the next opportunity to come and get tires and work their way up just a little bit further. That's really how you have to run this race. Look up a little bit further, battle for 14th. Jason Jacoby, he's using this patented move, pushing that driver in front of them. Jeffrey Ford gets a big bump on the front straightaway, and he's going to push him off into turn number 1, exiting 2 now on lap number 60. They're going to fight it out for that 13th spot.
They're still pretty much single file for the top at least 8 or 10 drivers right now, but look, this battle is starting to heat up here between the 18 of Ricky Howell Jr., Bobby Terrell, and Justin Michael. They were really nose to tail there as they went into 3 and 4. And, they were very, very close. It just now happens to be that the 87 just backed off a bit.
Battle for the lead between the 17 and the 27 up front. It was side by side the last time they came by. 5/100ths of a second. They crossed the stripe. Ashton Crowder is going to go after it yet again off of turn number 4. Is he going to duck to the apron? No, he's going to stay in line and try and make the move going into 1. He's to the back bumper of that Mountain Dew Chevy Silverado. The battle of the bow ties up front as we cross the line on the 62.
Once again, it's still Jamie Walker leading Ashton Crowder by .068. So, look, Crowder, and as we spoke about before, over these longer period of green flag runs, Crowder seems to get the better run here. But let's see if we can bring the replay up of that one.
A big wreck on the back straightaway. Looks like the 24. The 18 gets up into the wall. That's Ricky Howell Jr. Comes off the wall and gets into the 87 of Justin Michael. Comes back down the racetrack. Justin Michael hits him and turns turtle for the 24 Muscle Milk Chevy Silverado down the back straightaway. We got the replay up for you now. So just a little bit of connection issues on everybody. iRacing server striking yet again, but they were solid by the time they came off of turn number 2 and ends up a big wreck in the end of the night for that 24 machine.
24 Bobby Terrell going upside down, but thankfully not doing too much damage to the front or rear end of that race car from what it looks to be that muscle number 24. But look, caution comes out, and that's going to give Jamie Walker and Ashton Crowder another restart to have a really good battle of this. And Jamie Walker, this is his chance again to try and pull away from the 27 of Ashton Crowder.
We get the restart. We will be past halfway, so we're going to wait a few laps after the green flag to give you your iRacing Midway race break. After we get the green flag here off this restart, we're going to cover the pit stops so far. As they come down to the attention of their crews, Ashton Crowder's going to hit it first. Now that 18 pulls into his pit box, barely gets in to that number 1 pit stall, but he's going to jack up that right side of the car. Going to go around to the left as Bobby Terrell in the background is going to pull in with that damaged number 24 machine. The left side's going to drop on that 17 as they come. It looks like the 81 of Joshua Suki is actually going to beat the 27 of Ashton Crowder off pit road. So a good pit stop for that U.S. Army underfunded racing team for that Toyota Tundra. As these drivers are going to come around and form up behind the pace car, we're going to get the running order reshuffled and be right back here on LSRTV. We're going to take a break here in the Go Bowling 200 live from Kansas. Back here live at Kansas, working caution number 2 in tonight's 133-lap event. They're doubled up for the restart here on lap number 66, just crossing the halfway point. So we're going to get these drivers sorted out here on a couple laps and give you your iRacing Midway race break. But for the time being, we're back under green flag racing. Joshua Suki, and that number 81 on the outside, he retook that second spot. That's not going to matter as that 27 Ashton Crowder gets a good run on the inside off the restart. He's going to move into that that second spot on the 17 of Jamie Walker.
In comes Justin Michael in the 87. He's going to get in underneath Joshua Suki in the 81. So that's going to move Suki back to that 4th spot. But look, that's I guess
Crowder's
that's a blessing in
going for
disguise. But the battle for the lead right now, Crowder. But it could have been a blessing in disguise there for the 27 of Ashton Crowder. That pit stop, seeing as though he come off pit road 3rd, he actually was able to know when Walker was going, and now the lead for the first time. Ashton Crowder's going to lead his first lap of the race.
Ashton Crowder gets his first lap lead of the night. He's going to take it from that 17 of Jamie Walker, but that battle for the lead is not over yet. And look behind him, here comes Justin Michael in that AR-15 number 87. Jamie Walker's going to retake the lead here on lap number 68 as they come to the line. Ashton Crowder loses that momentum. It's going to check up the 87 on the top side. Big checkup on that outside lane. That's going to allow Scott Simley on the inside of that number 12 of the 81 of Joshua Suki. Making a little bit of contact as they go through the tri-oval into 1. That 81 is going to hold steady on that outside lane, and the 5th spot is going to be uncontested for the 68. The 12 car is about a car length behind.
Yeah, Justin Michael on that last turn 3-4, the last lap, he really had to check up big. He had a big run going into 3-4 due to Crowder running the bottom. Crowder just had moved up. He didn't have a lot of momentum going, and that really could have been disastrous, but thankfully those guys are able to see what was happening in front of them, and they avoided disaster. But once again, it's going to be Jamie Walker leading from Ashton Crowder, Justin Michael, Joshua Suki, and Scott Simley rounds out the top 5. And once again, all these top 5 drivers, they are running the top side. Actually go back to probably the top 15, I'd say, if not nearly all the drivers going back through the field are running the top side. No one game enough to go down low.
I use this term sparingly now that it's calmed down relatively. We're going to do your iRacing Midway race break. Let's take a look. Brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and more. Jamie Walker is your leader for the time being. The 27 Ashton Crowder is in 2nd. 3rd is Justin Michael, your winner from Phoenix. Joshua Suki in that 4th spot. 5th is going to be Scott Simley. Greg Mall in 6th. Robert Gillenwater up from 17th into the 7th spot. 23rd starter Seth Foudy was 8th, now in 9th. Looks like he's dropping through the field. Odd timing and scoring glitch for that number 22 machine. Excuse me, he may have pitted, but that's going to move the 3 of Aaron Bennett into the 8th spot. Michael Waters in the 55 in 9th, and Jason Jacoby is going to be in 10th.
And the 95 for Jeffrey Ford is going to be in 11th. We go back to Michael Priester in 12th. 13th is going to be Michael Wade Riley Thompson. 14th, 16th is going to be Chris Gabo. George Hendricks is going to be 16th. 17th is going to be Shane Hother. 18th will be Ricky Howe Jr. and Randy Tessa. 19th, and Michael Atkins Jr. is going to land at the 20th.
Turns out Seth Foudy actually hit the wall in that number 22 machine. He is running in 21st. So he lost a lot of momentum and a little bit of damage to that 22 Toyota Tundra. 22nd is going to be the 77 of Dylan Phillips. Christopher Hurlow back on the lead lap in the 23rd spot. Bobby Terrell in 24th. Ryan Steenbackers in the 25th spot, rounding out your lead lap drivers. 1 lap down drivers, just Michael Ware, Justin Cleaver, Dwayne Dunn, Jeff Ryan, and Stephen Herring in your 30th spot. That's 26th through 30th. The rest of your drivers are either out of the race or multiple laps down. Scott Formosa in 31st. 32nd, Brian Cutts. Louis Robinette in 33rd. 34, 36 laps down is Ralph Vandervorst. This has been your iRacing Midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities on the web, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. For a limited time, you can use the LSRTV promo code by entering PR-2016 whenever you register for a new iRacing membership to get the late model free of charge, along with 13 cars and 14 tracks included with a first-time membership. Caution is out on the speedway. We're going to have to find that incident for you. Looks like it's the number 14 of Christopher Herlow on the front straightaway. Just talked about him getting back on the lead lap. He smacks the wall coming out of 4. Get the replay up for you. Looks like he just overcorrected after spinning down the racetrack. He hits the wall coming off of 4 right there next to the Sprint Cup Series chase sign. Overcorrects and ends up, doesn't really hit anything it looks like. So he makes a good recovery. Doesn't spin through the grass, gets it refired and continues moving. That's going to be a single car incident here on lap 75.
Once again, we now see the caution coming out. I believe this is the third caution of the night. Am I correct?
Yes, it is.
Saying that one? Yeah. Yep, third caution of the night, and we'll see if these drivers are going to venture down into pit lane. Not too long ago, where they just felt like we had another caution, and I guess when it rains it pours, and I guess that's not what we want to see. As we are going to see the drivers going down pit road, so they're going to see a fresh set of tyres and potentially some fuel as well.
I think Jamie Walker's just a little bit more comfortable with that 27 of Ashton Crowder now because he's seen what happens whenever he gets to the lead. He was clear, but Jamie Walker was able to get back around him, so he's got a little bit more confidence on the restart. Plus, he has him on the outside as long as he comes off second on pit road. But that's barring any mistakes from Jamie Walker coming into his pit stall. But he's going to hit it perfectly as they come to pit road. He's going to jack up that right side, and we're going to see what happens here. You know, you really wouldn't think pit stops would be that important, as looks like Joshua Suki in that 81 is going to take 2 tires.
Yeah, just 2 right side tires, and oh wow, that's certainly going to shuffle things up here. And
Jamie Walker moves down to 3rd. He's going to get beaten off pit road by the 87 of Justin Michael.
yeah, that's actually going to be big because now we're going to see Crowder and Walker. They're going to be side by side, but this time they're going to be a row back. So we'll see what they can do on this next restart.
Working their way around the racetrack. We pass halfway. Brett, first impressions on the USR series here at Kansas, or halfway impressions on the race tonight?
Yeah, look, it's been fun. You know, it's exciting watching these guys run the top. So close to that wall. It's a shame that I guess sort of the bottom there isn't too much of a bottom here there at the moment. But look, I would love to see that bottom come in and really have a two-lane racetrack at the moment. But you know, it's one of those things. But look, at the moment, so far from what I've seen, look, it's been fun. It's been clean as well.
Well, there's one good thing about it. A couple of dirt track announcers like us, we kind of like seeing the high side working and seeing drivers work the slide job.
Yeah, look, as I said, dirt track law was right here, but you know we're on asphalt tonight. But look, you can pull off these sort of slide jobs here. You can get a run going into the corners. You can pitch it down low, and then sort of coming off the corner, you can just go close to the wall. Crowder had that opportunity on Walker before, but he chose to stay on the bottom, and that's when Walker actually drove right back around him like he was standing still. He almost pulled like 6 or 7 car lengths on him.
You can pull it off well, or you can make it, or you can not pull it off at all, because we saw great recovery, the 87 of Justin Michael. He actually tried to pull that slide job, ended up sliding in front of the 18 of Ricky Howell Jr. a couple laps ago, about 30 laps ago, but he ended up saving that car, had a little bit of right side damage, but now he's running in that second spot, so he's going to line up on the outside for the restart. Going to be very interesting with that 81 in the lead. So I'm excited to see what 2 tires are going to do versus 4.
He might be just trying to sort of bank on maybe trying to bank on another caution coming. Yeah. I mean, there is that possibility, but you know, it's going to be one of those things. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, but. We're also got to keep an eye on as well, and it's quite a few times. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that Aaron Bennett in that number three machine, he's up to I think he hasn't really done anything over probably since the 2 cautions ago.
Yeah, it looks like he's finally gotten around competition that is as fast as he is, and that speed is kind of stagnated. He has picked up a few positions. I think he lost a few during the pit stop. I think he was up to about 7th or 8th there before the caution came out. But yeah, he's not picking up the positions like he was before when he was running around drivers toward the rear of the field. But it'd be interesting to see what that 3 can do here off this restart, if he can use that inside lane to his advantage. Talk about the inside lane. The 17 of Jamie Walker, he's going to have an advantage because he's going to start on the inside there on row number 2, but he's got Ashton Crowder on the outside of him with a car in front of him. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the 27 can get a decent restart with the drivers in front. Pace car is going to pull to pit road. That 81 of Joshua Suki in that U.S. Army Toyota Tundra is going to lead him to the green flag here on lap number 80. Everybody gets rolling very well. They're side by side. Sorry about that, Brett. They're going to roll side by side through second. Jamie Walker, he's going to move into that second spot around Justin Michael as they go into 1.
I was going to say, Suki really had to get a good start there. Being on those 2 tyres, he needs to get out in front as quick as he can because those guys on 4 tyres, they are going to really quick. But look at this, nearly 3 wide for second here on the racetrack. It's going to be Crowder moving to the inside of Walker. Justin Michael shuffled back in that 87, back to 4th spot. But now they are going to come up on Joshua Suki. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they go either side of him right now. So we could see a 3-wide battle here for the lead.
Crowder's going to use that 81 as a pick as he moves to the inside. Move that 27 into the lead for the time being. Here they come. 3 wide for the lead. Coming off of turn number 2. 81 on the outside. 27 stuck in the middle. And a 17 of Jamie Walker on the inside. Still 3 wide going into 3 with the 87 of Justin Michael right behind. It's still not sorted out as they come out of 4. It's going to be 2 wide for that lead. The 81 holding strong on the outside. 3 wide for second.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 wide for second now as the 87 and 27 almost come together. Michael and Crowder now. It's still going to be 3 wide for second. So this restart, this is a great restart for us.
Caution is out and ruins it. It's like the 8. Jeff Ryan is going to be the secondary incident here. I'm looking up through the field. It looks like the 39 of Dwayne Dunn and another driver getting into it in turn number 1. Looks like it's the 69 machine of Randy Tesser. They go into turn number 1. We're going to get the replay up for you now. Looks like just a little bit of contact. Drivers fighting for real estate going into that first corner. Ends up collecting. The 28 makes a good job trying to see who that is. Looks like Michael Warren in that number 28. He does a good job missing it. But Jeff Ryan, he just had nowhere to go and plows into Dwayne Dunn in the 39.
Yeah, I tell you what, that battle was heating up. Yeah, not only did we have 3 wide for the lead, but Suki got the good run off, and then we had 3 wide for second as well. So, look, those 4 drivers, when they went past the start-finish line under green flag, there was .048 of a second between second, third, and fourth, and 2 1,000ths of a second between Crowder and Walker it was. So, look, those guys, they were certainly putting it on, but I can't understand why. Yeah, I was going to say, oh, wow, the 27
He's going to be the only one.
Yeah, 2 of them actually going into the pits.
Justin Michael, and looks like the 1 of Jason Jacoby also going to stay out. Looks like Greg Mall also. So here on lap number 84, we're going to take a quick commercial break, I do believe. Yeah, because we're going to try and run a bunch of laps under green here after we get done with the caution. You just saw what Kansas can bring when you get the USR Truck Series on the track. 3 wide for first and 3 wide for second. It's going to be a very exciting finish here in the Go Bowling 200 live at Kansas Speedway for LSRTV. We'll be right back.
So obviously you guys have come from the virtual world to reality. What do you think about a sim racer coming in the real world? What were your expectations coming in?
Coming from iRacing, a computer program basically down here to a real world scenario where you got all these guys with all these years and years and years and years of experience that are also using iRacing as a tool to come out and run against those guys and beat them and finish ahead of them and show them, there's a thing or two you might be missing is fantastic. That's a skill that I know I don't have, and I can appreciate it because I'm terrible at iRacing.
Glenn was able to come into the team. We did a lot of preseason testing, actually a full season's worth of testing before we even started the season. And he came in, there was a lot of sectors that he was the fastest guy out of our team. And Sparky and I are looking at data, trying to catch up to him through some turns. And of course, some places Sparky will be the fastest or I'll be the fastest, and Glenn is able to learn from, what we're doing and vice versa. So it was excellent to see his pace right off of the bat, and speed was never a worry. It's about qualifying well. Qualifying is very difficult, and pretty important in this series. and so is, being able to make effective passes without contact. It's very difficult to pass in these cars, so, it's not easy being here.
I think the level of ultra competitiveness in here, where when normally when you make a pass, you're making a pass with 2 cars involved, but if we're making a pass in this series, you have to remember there's 5 cars waiting behind you. If you mess up that pass, they're going by you.
Yeah, it's like sharks.
Yeah, you're surrounded by sharks. But no, it's been I've been very surprised and very pleased with it. And obviously, I have the 2 champions I'm sitting between. John actually statistically is the most successful MX-5 Cup driver in the world. He owns every record that you would want, none of the bad records.
Maybe some of them, I don't know.
Maybe some of those. And Sparky's one of the quickest guys in the paddock, and obviously the champion now. So I couldn't have picked a better team to be with 6 Sideways. I'm looking at what everybody in the paddock calls gold. I mean, they will pay to look at John and Sparky's data, and I get full access to it. And I get to see where I'm doing well and see where I can improve. And I've been really pleased with my progress.
Back here live at Kansas Speedway for the Gold Bowling 200, closing in on the finish. Just under 50 laps to go, I do believe. We're closing in on the finish, but it's going to get very exciting because, Brett, we've got 10 drivers who stayed out, and that's going to move Jamie Walker and Ashton Crowder, the 2 drivers who have led the majority of tonight's race, in 11th and 12th on new tires.
Yeah, it's certainly going to get exciting as well. And look, it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do when they're in traffic as well. Obviously, they've had as you said, the majority of the race up front, clean air. They haven't really had to deal with traffic, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the 27 and the 17.
Ford Mustang pace car is going to pull to pit road. It's going to lead the drivers who are still in tonight's race. It's a majority of the field. Going to come down into turn number 1 past the start-finish line. We're back underway here on lap number 87. Drivers who stayed out: Joshua Suki, Justin Michael, Greg Maul, Jason Jacoby, Michael Waters, Shane Hawther, Christopher Herlo, Seth Fowley, Justin Kleber, and Aaron Bennett, all in your top 10. Looky here coming up through the field, but we've got a battle for that second spot. It's going to be highly contested. We're going to try and look, but Greg Maul is going for the lead. Going into turn number 3, he's going to power it to the inside, but Joshua Suki is not going to give him any room. Here comes Justin Michael to the outside. We're 3 wide again for the lead going into 1.
Oh, this is great. They actually form up in a single file formation there. But I'll tell you what, I thought it was going to be Suki's, of course, that's going to come out yet again. And I thought Suki was going to get passed by Moore and Michaels on the inside and outside.
Caution comes out. Looks like George Hendricks going up into the wall with the 18 of Ricky Howe Jr. just past the start-finish line going into turn number 1. Replay up for you. Looks like he just did not realize he was there or just got hooked on the fender, and they end up going into the wall just on top of the safer barrier. Looks like the 64 also involved the 88. It's Michael Atkins Jr. and Michael Priester in that 64 machine. Looks like Bobby Terrell is actually going to miss the wreck, so he does a very good job. And looks like Ricky Howe Jr. was actually going to get away pretty decently, but he ends up getting a little bit more secondary damage as the 64 came down the racetrack. So about a 4 or 5 car incident. And that's going to allow us to reset the field. Jamie Walker picks up a few positions. Ashton Crowder stayed where he was. He picked up 2 positions off that restart from 12th to 11th. Jamie Walker from 11th to 8th. So, and Greg Maul actually got the lead through that. So he was able to beat the timing and scoring line. It looks like we may have some drivers coming to pit road. They're going to pull the fake yet again.
Yeah, one driver I want to give a mention to as well. Obviously, we spoke about Aaron Bennett picking up quite a few spots. Shane Hawther in the 11 car started 26, and he's now, before that gorge come out, he was into 6 as well. So, look, he's picked up 20 positions as well. He's made his way from the back, and he's making his way to the front of the field now.
Updated running order right now. Greg Maul is your leader for the first time tonight. That 12 machine is up front. We're at the 1 hour mark. We just crossed it here on lap number 90. Joshua Suki in that 81. In that second spot, Justin Michael in 3rd. Jason Jacoby in 4th. He started 6th, moved down through the positions. now up into 4th. Michael Waters in 5th. Shane Hawther, as you just said, in 6th. Seth Foudy in 7th. Jamie Walker has led the most laps tonight in that 8th spot. Christopher Herlow moves down 1 into 9th. And Ashton Crowder in 10th.
Yeah, from the 30th spot, Aaron Bennett in the 3. He's going to find himself in 11th. 12th is going to be Justin Cleaver. Jeffrey Ford in the 95 will be in 13th. 14th is going to go back to Scott Semley. Robin Gillenwater is going to be in that 15th spot. Then we go back to Chris Cabot in that number 5 machine. Riley Thompson in the 56 is in 17th. 18th is going to be Dylan Phillips. 19th is going to be Ricky Howell Jr. after starting 5th. So he's fallen back quite a few spots. And Michael Waite is going to be in that 20th spot.
Riding here under caution. Going to give you a few links if you're interested in running with the United Sim Racing Series in any of their series. Visit them at UnitedSimRacing.com and also on Facebook at Facebook.com/UnitedSimRacing. Also with LSRTV, stay up to date with us online at LiveSimRacing.com or Facebook at Facebook.com/LiveSimRacingTV for all the news and notes on all of our broadcasts throughout the week. And also our broadcast schedule. You can see it up on the cover photo. We've got all of the races we will be covering throughout the week. You'll see this race. You'll see the RSR series. You'll see all of it on our Facebook page. And also, if you haven't done it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be up and get notifications on when all of our broadcasts start. Just like the one here tonight.
Alright, so just a couple of names that have gone or gained a few positions. We got Seth Foudy in the 22, started 23rd, is up to 7th. We have Christopher Herlow, who started 21st, he's up to 9th, so a good drive from him. Aaron Bennett in the 3, from 30th to 11th as well. And look, I want to point out the good drivers, but I don't want to point out the drivers that have gone backwards as well, so we'll leave that one to be.
Should get the lights out atop the Ford Mustang pace car this time by. So we're going to get the restart here on lap number 92. So they come by the stripe this time. Let's see if the lights do go out. They do indeed, so they're going to double them up for the restart. And just about to cross the line into 30 laps to go. I want to talk about Jason Jacoby. He's done a very good job. We've seen him just outside the top 10 racing with those guys, and now he's up into 4th. I know it's a pit strategy call, but still, he's had a very competitive car for that number 1 machine. He's got a little bit of damage there. He's got a crinkled hood on that Toyota Tundra, but it's still running great. And he's up there contending with Justin Michael, with the drivers, the other drivers we've seen who have been running up front. Looks like we got Jamie Walker and Ashton Crowder both on the same row, as they're lined up in 8th and 9th, but a scoring issue that's going to put them on the same row as we ride down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Pace car is going to pull to pit road this time by the Ford Mustang, hopefully for the final time. Lap number 93 is going to be the lap. We're going to go back to green flag racing here in the Go Bowling 200 here at Kansas Speedway. If the earlier laps have been any indication, it's going to be a great finish. We've had 3 wide racing for the lead, and we may see it again. Greg Maul gets a great restart. He's going to jump to the bottom side of the racetrack. The 87 of Justin Michael takes advantage of that inside lane. He's going to move into 2nd with the switcheroo for the 81 of Joshua Suki on the bottom.
Remember Suki about 3 cautions ago, he actually only took 2 tyres, so look, upon those last couple of cautions we've had, he's done well to hang on to that 3rd spot at the moment, but now he's going to get pressed here by the 1 of Jason Jacoby.
Looking back through the field, looks like the 17 of Jamie Walker is held up in traffic. The 27 of Ashton Crowder's been able to get around him. He's now gotten past the 14 of Christopher Herlow, the 11, and other drivers, and he's going to try and make it maybe 3 wide by the time they get out of turn number 2. He's going to hold off on that move for the time being. But Ashton Crowder got the advantage so far, and he may be able to pull away if the 17 of Jamie Walker can't bust through this traffic.
Okay. Crowder, there's actually now going to be a bit of a four-car battle here for this 4th spot on the racetrack. He's going to be led by the 1 of Jason Jacoby. Now we've actually got a 3-wide battle here with the 55 of Waters, Crowder, and Foudy as well. So look, 3 wide into turns number 1 and 2. That's going to be the 55 Michael Waters getting off the gas. He's going to lose a couple of spots. The 17 of Jamie Walker's going to go on by. But look at this, now we're almost going to see 4 wide down the back straight. Things are heating up here at Kansas.
3 wide, 5 or 6 cars deep as they roll into 3. 14 of Christopher Herlow holding his line on the inside. Aaron Bennett talked about him all night. It's going to be a great finish here tonight because this is for 10th. So, and it looks like we got a battle up front, but I do not want to go away from this. This is big. These drivers, it's a mix of drivers on new tires and old tires. It's getting interesting up front for them as well. Greg Mall, he's been caught by the 87 of Justin Michael as they go into 3. Not yet heated up so far. It's starting to calm down for that 10th spot as these drivers starting to sort into their positions. They cross the line here on to lap number 97. The 87 of Justin Michael to the back bumper. Looks like we got a little bit of smoke going into 1. Looks like we got a blown engine. It's going to be the 34 of George Hendricks on the inside of the racetrack. So hopefully he can make it back around before the car shuts off and he's no longer able to move. But going into 3, 87 hadn't made that move yet, so he may be waiting for the perfect opportunity to get by. He doesn't want to race side by side.
Yeah, crowd on that last start as well. Got a good run from Jamie Walker, and those are two of the guys that have been up front virtually throughout the whole night and found themselves deep in the pack, about 8th or 9th spot, and now they're having to work through. And now that crowd has actually gotten through that traffic, he's now trying to track down your top 3, and he's reeling him in fast. But I tell you what, Greg Moore doing a fantastic job out in front, holding off Justin Michael and Joshua Suki on those 2 right side tyres, still in 3rd spot in that 81 machine.
81 holding on, but it may not last too long because now we've got your 2 leaders who have led all night. Ashton Crowder in the 27 is in 4th, and Jamie Walker's been able to bust the traffic and now is in 5th, 1.6 seconds back. Behind them, Seth Foudy in 6th. Aaron Bennett, he's where we thought he would be. He's now busting through this traffic as well and coming up into the 7th position, and he's going after Seth Foudy in that 22 machine. Behind them, Jason Jacoby still hanging on to the 10th place. Jeffrey Ford now has just gotten passed by the 68 of Scott Simley.
And we're going to see Shane Hoffley in 11th as well, and Robert Gillenwater back there in 12th. As nice, Gillenwater going to be back, scored in that 11th spot as he got on the inside of Shane Hoffley in that 11 machine, but now he's actually got company behind him. He's got the 55 Michael Waters and Christopher Herlow as well. Herlow is going to move to the inside of Waters here, and now Herlow is going to make his move on the 11 of Shane Hoffley as they go into turn 3 and 4. This is for positions 11 on the racetrack.
Herlow started in 12th, practiced in 20th, was actually off the lead lap for a few laps, now making a great recovery for that 14 Old Spice machine. Now inside the top 15. It's now into 13th last time by the start-finish line. Back up front, Ashton Crowder in that 27. He's been able to get by that U.S. Army Toyota Tundra of the 81 of Joshua Suki. Now Ashton Crowder in that 27 moves into 3rd. Now he's pretty much got clear track to go after the leaders. Meanwhile, Jamie Walker still has to work his way around that 81. So all Ashton Crowder is hoping for is for a little bit of resistance from that 81 to allow him to use just a little bit of time, because we've seen Ashton Crowder's been the better car on old tires.
Yeah, definitely this Greg Moore is going to come up on 2 into turn 3 and 4. We're going to put a lap down on the 28 machine, and that's going to be Michael Warren. He's actually going to be scored 6 laps down now, but he's there. He's just holding his line and doing what most lap cars don't do. And from what I've seen, most lap cars, they tend to race the lead as hard as they can.
The one thing he's doing is making himself predictable. That's a good thing. He just held that inside lane and let the leaders choose their line to get around him. It's one thing you have to learn whenever you're off the pace. You know it sucks to not be able to be up front and battle for that win, but you have to put yourself in those drivers' positions. You do not need to be involved with that race for the lead. But you know who is going to be involved? Ashton Crowder in just a few laps, because he's cut that gap down. It's 8/10 last lap, now down to 7/10. So I think Justin Michael, the smart thing would be is to just ride single file and maybe hope to get around Greg Mall when Ashton Crowder goes by.
Yeah, he's a 10th and a half quicker. I mean, a lot of these drivers inside the top 5 are running 30.8. His last lap by was a 30.65 or something like that. I mean, he is certainly on the move, and as these cars start to pass traffic, there's sort of a bit of an open track now for your race leaders, and that's exactly what Crowder wants, because now he's actually going to be have the opportunity to really start reeling these guys in, and he's doing it thick and fast. That was a 30.744, whereas the other guys, your race leader Greg Moore, he had a 30.874. and Justin Michael hit a 31.0, so you can just see how quick that 27 of Ashton Crowder really is.
Inside 30 laps to go. It's counting down even faster, and it looks like the 87's coming to pit road. So the no pitting strategy is not going to work out, or at least maybe for the time being, because I don't know how long these guys can go on a fuel stop, but that's going to move Ashton Crowder into second, as Greg Maul is going to stay out on the racetrack. I wonder how many drivers are actually going to come down to pit road. Didn't even think about that. That one slipped my mind. If these drivers can make it on one more tank of fuel. So we're going to see a little bit of pit strategy trying to work this out. This may work out for Greg Maul if Ashton Crowder in that 27 has to pit again.
Yeah, I guess they're just trying to maybe bank on no more cautions, because even if they do have a caution, you would think that the guys that are pitting right now, you'd think that they might just go in just to get a fresh set of tyres as well. But once again, it's going to be Ashton Crowder going back to the lead. Now he's going to have 8/10 on the 17 of Jamie Walker. Seth Foudy back there in third as they come down the back straight away into turn number 3 and 4. This is lap 107 here at Kansas Speedway.
A little bit of a battle for inside the top 5. Scott Simley, Jason Jacoby, and Seth Foudy. Seth Foudy up from 23rd starting position into the podium spots for the time being. Done very well for himself in that Toyota Tundra. Behind them, Jason Jacoby in that 4th spot. He's up from 8th, as a few of these drivers have come down the pit road. Drivers like Randy Tesser, Justin Michael, Jeffrey Ford, and Greg Maul, as we've seen just just last lap. And that gap is starting to open up, because now it's 1.12 seconds between Ashton Crowder and Jamie Walker.
There we go, back in
Looks like Ashton's coming to pit road.
Yeah, just look through the back of the pack, and I see the 68 of Scott Simley as well, just jamming the brakes on. I was just about to say that Crowder, he actually was slowing down as well, so maybe these guys are not going to bank on any more cautions here. As we do start to wind down, I think we got 50-odd remaining laps.
No, it's a 133 lap race. I do believe they've changed the race distance, but we're going to be good to go on fuel, so I'd have to believe that these drivers could not make it. Otherwise, they'd stay on the racetrack. And maybe Jamie Walker, we've seen him try and save fuel before, but I think it'd be the safe bet to come to pit road now, because now he's losing time to Ashton Crowder and Greg Maul. Because you got to remember, Greg Maul is in the lead, and he is on newer tires.
Yeah, we'll see what is going to happen as these drivers come out of pit road, and still it's Jamie Walker. He's going to be leading this one. We'll see if he's going to come down pit road anytime soon.
Ashton Crowder now coming back onto the racetrack, and Greg Maul is in front of him. So Greg Maul is in the provisional lead at the moment. If anybody took no tires, I'm not sure. But for the drivers who took 4 tires, Greg Maul is in the lead so far. We're going to have to wait and see when Jamie Walker does come down to take his final pit stop of the night. Looks like Shane Hawthor in that Jegs number 11 coming down to pit road now. As well as, looks like we got a few drivers still out on the racetrack. Drivers like Christopher Hurlow maybe slowing down to come to pit road. It's not, he's running that high side. So the 79 also, Jason Jacoby, and the 22 and Seth Foudy all still out on the racetrack.
Yeah, the one of Jason Jacoby just saying, as he went into turns 1 and 2, he actually clobbered the wall, so he lost a little bit more speed and lost a little bit of momentum as well. So the guys got to be careful as well. Entering those corners, especially on the top side, as we're still going to see the top 3 still out onto the racetrack, as we're going to complete lap 112 here of the USR Truck Series at Kansas Speedway.
I've completely forgot about this. Justin Michael, he was up front, and he was the first of the drivers who stayed on the racetrack to come down to pit road. He is in 12th, so he's in front of Greg Maul and Ashton Crowder, so he will be your leader, I do believe, whenever these guys come back, get back into their positions. We've also got Aaron Bennett in front of these guys. This is shaking up the running order.
Race leader Jamie Michael, I believe, went down into pit lane then, so we'll see if he's going to take some tyres or whether it's just going to be a splash and go.
It's going to move Seth Foudy into the lead. Jason Jacoby 1 second behind him. Yeah, let's see if the crew chief on that 17 is going to pull a rabbit out of a hat and try and take no tires and gain that time. We've got 20 laps to go, just under it. So let's see if the right side is going to be jacked up. It is. We're going to have to wait and see if the left side is going to go up as well. Seth Foudy now coming to pit road. That's going to leave Jason Jacoby out on the racetrack. Left sides are up as well. So it's going to be a 4-tire pit stop for that 17. Now we wait to see where he's going to sort out.
Yeah, we probably about probably at least another lap or two before we see where these drivers are running. The 48 and the 81 both go around the 17 with Jamie Walker there, as he's going to come back out onto the back stretch here at Kansas. But in the meantime, it's still it's going to be Jason Jacoby who has got the race lead in that Domino's number 1 drill spill. So he's going to enter turn number 1 and 2 at the moment. He's got a 4.1 second lead over Ryan Steenbackers. To believe that these guys are going to be going to pit. But look, I would be interested to see if Jason Jacoby is going to try and stay out there for the rest of the race, and maybe hopefully we don't see a caution.
Looks like he's taking the inside lane. He is slowing down, so he's going to come to pit road. Throw that strategy out the window. But these drivers are going to come down. Last few drivers may be coming to pit road. That's going to leave the 79 still out on the racetrack. And I think we got the battle for the lead. Yeah, Aaron Bennett. He's in the lead, or he is in the provisional lead. We still got these drivers waiting to come to pit road. So Aaron Bennett, he's come from nowhere into what is basically the lead of the race.
I mean, we've spoken about him quite a bit tonight. About starting at the back-to-back, what he could have done had he started up the front. I guess in the end, it's a blessing in disguise at the moment. Starting third, he's now actually been started 30th. Sorry, he's now been pressured here by the 87 of Justin Michael. So. Look, this is going to be a good close finish coming up, especially, and I'm just praying that we can stay green. Don't want to give the commentators curse away, but look, this battle is going to be heating up here. And it looks like the 87 of Justin Michael has driven around the outside of the 3 of Aaron Bennett.
That's one thing you got to watch out for is these drivers who have pitted are going to be on older tires. So Aaron Bennett and Justin Michael were the first to come to pit road, and they're going to be on the oldest tires in the field of the drivers who have come to pit road. So that's going to allow Greg Mull and Ashton Crowder to actually run him down. So Greg Mull, he is in front, and we got a caution. You cursed it.
I said like Jason Jacoby. Curse it.
Nope, not Jason Jacoby. Like the 79. Got a little bit of damage. Got a few incidences on the racetrack, and I have to try and find. Just finding the replay now. I'm having to find it myself here. Looks like the 81, some contact. He gets dumped coming out of turn number 4 by the 81 of Joshua Suki. And he comes down the racetrack into the 68 of Scott Simley. So we got a 3-car incident on the front straightaway, and I do believe we had one more car pile in at the end. Looks like Michael Warren in the 28. Some hard contact. I didn't see it, but Cisco telling us about it. And that is going to... It may not have ruined everything, because this is going to make everything very interesting. We're going to have maybe some drivers come to pit road.
Yeah, well, I can see the 3 of Aaron Bennett in pit road. I see the 27 as well of Ashton Crowder. He's going to be on pit road as well. So, look, it's going to bunch these guys back up again. And the guys that sort of stayed out there on that little bit longer run, they're going to have the chance to maintain the race lead if those guys, if the guys that pitted earlier on, if they're going to choose to go in as well. So, look, this is certainly going to shake things up here for the last, what have we got, 13 or 14 laps to go.
Going to be about a 10-lap shootout. That's unfortunate for the 79 of Ryan Steenbackers. I haven't heard that name before, so I believe he's running in one of his first races in the USR Series.
He's been here for a while.
Oh, well, excuse me, my mistake. I'm being told by our stats guy, Cisco. He's a man of multiple talents. Apparently, I haven't done my research, and the 79 is one of the veterans of the series, so my mistake on the part of Ryan. But this is going to be interesting because we've got drivers who have not been up front all night. They've been battling for about the 13th, 14th, 15th position up front on new tires, and we got a problem. Looks like the 17 of Jamie Walker has stopped on the back straightaway. Is he waiting? Is he waiting for the rest of the field? At least. Yep, he's now starting to roll. He's waiting for a few drivers coming out of pit road, so this is going to really stack up the running order. The 79 is still out on the racetrack, still your leader. So he's staying low, and he's just going to wait for the pits to open, or he's going to try and lead as many laps as he can. Not quite sure, but not quite sure the deal on the 79. Maybe just trying to lead as many laps as he can. But this running order, it looks like the 17 and Jamie Walker actually having to wait for the pace car. So that's why he was stopped there on the back straightaway. Brett, a little more interesting than I thought it was going to be. We got excitement just trying to figure out the running order.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we're going to know in about probably about 10 or 12 seconds when these drivers come across the start finish line. We see the 17 here, Jamie Walker. He's actually behind the pace car. He's not been scored a lap down just yet, but well, it looks like he's going to get that wave round. So, look, he's going to have a tough task ahead of him, but as I said, it's shaking things up here. As I said, with potentially about 10 laps to go, we've seen earlier on in the night, 2-3 wide battles for not only for second but also for the race lead. With these guys on a lot of these guys on those new tyres, fuel not having to be a strategy anymore. It's all about trying to get that drive on the top side.
This is going to be a jumbled up restart because the 79 is out on the racetrack with a smoking engine, but he's still in the lead. So he's chosen not to come to pit road. He may be coming at the 1 to go. So that's going to leave the 48 of Michael Wyatt. He's not going to be... Yeah, the lights are out atop the pace car. This is the 1 to go. So if he comes to pit road, which he should with the amount of damage that car does have, looks like maybe the admins are on the radio with him, but that's going to put the 48 of Michael Wyatt into the lead because he's on the outside in second. So hopefully we see that 79 duck to pit road. They come off of turn number 4. He is making the hard left turn on the pit road. He's going to follow the pace car. So that's going to put, a jumbled up restart. The 48 was not ready to go. That's going to jumble up everybody in the 56 of Riley Thompson. He's going to run away with it.
Wow, but yeah, he's got the 12 of Greg Moore right in behind him as well. So that's going to be a good battle in itself. Now we're going to see the 87 of Justin Mock coming in. Here comes the 27 of Ashton Crowder. They're going to move on the bottom side of that 48 of Michael Wade, who got shuffled back big time. Was meant to start on the outside of the front row. Now he's back into about 6th spot.
Michael White cuts in the 48 Lowe's Chevy Silverado, caught sleeping on the restart. And we've already got a change for the lead. Greg Mall into the lead. He's got around Riley Thompson there through turns 3 and 4. Couple of black flags being shown for drivers because of the 79 coming to pit road. Jason Jacoby, Bobby Terrell, and Jamie Walker all have had their black flags cleared. So we are good to go. The 56 still in second, but Greg Mall running away with it. This is going to allow the 27 to have to overcome a huge gap to try and catch him. But he's going to have that 87 of Justin Michael breathing down his neck as well. And
see what Crowder can do in these last remaining laps. We know how quick he was on the older times, but now quick he is just in general all round, and he's got his work out of him. 0.783 across the start finish line. And I can tell you, he is really in that 12 of Greg Moore really quickly, and following closely behind him is the 87 of Justin Michael. So look, it's going to be certainly a 3-car battle here within the next lap or two.
Here comes Ashton Crowder. It's a 2-car train, and are going to try and catch Greg Mall in the next few laps. We're running this out to lap 133. We're at lap 126 right now. Riley Thompson still in 4th. He's going to have the 14 of Christopher Hurlow down his neck. Hurlow is in 14th, 1 lap down, so that's not a battle for position. It is, however, for the 48 of Michael White. Good recovery after that miscue on the restart, caught sleeping. Here comes Aaron Bennett. He's going to make it 3 wide. It's going to be close coming off of 4. They're going to make it work, and there goes Aaron Bennett into the 5th.
Well, he has been a man on a mission all day today, and he's made that 3 he's driven the wheels off that 3. He's now found himself inside the top 5, and look, what a drive that is from Aaron Bennett in that 3. I know we've spoken about him quite a fair bit, but look, he has certainly earned that top 5 spot.
closing in on the finish. Lap 127 completed this time by closing in on the conclusion of tonight's race. Greg Mall still in the lead by 3.5 tenths. Crowder and Justin Michael are catching him. He's going to have enough time. It should be 5 or 6 laps to go. I can't really do the math right now. It's 6 laps to go at the point, so it's going to be 5 to go this time by. So if we get a caution, the race is over with whenever we get back to the stripe. It's still going to be a race up until now. So if the caution comes out, iRacing does not have a way to pull out a green-white checker. So we're going to have to run the rest of the race under caution. That's going to leave Greg Mall as your leader. But we're not going to have a caution. Hopefully, Greg Mall and Ashton Crowder, Justin Michael are going to fight it out for the win. And that may happen here in the next few laps because Crowder is coming. It's down to about 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, he's really pulled in that spot for Greg Mall. Now it's just a car length between the two as Crowder is starting to reel him in. And look what we have up ahead in turns 1 and 2. We have 2-lap cars, and I dare say that these guys are going to catch these guys thick and fast. And I'll tell you what, lap cars, they always going to play a part in any kind of or any form of motorsport. And I dare say that we're going to have a beauty on our hands with 4 to go, 3 to go at the line.
Right, you are 3 to go at the line here at Kansas. 130 laps, but it all comes down to this. Greg Mall, your winner at California. Ashton Crowder, a multiple-time winner in 2017. 2016/2017. 3 laps to go. Lap car pulls to the apron, gets out of the way. One more car is Scott Simley in 13th. To the back bumper goes the 27 of Ashton Crowder. He's going to push him going into 1, coming out of 2. It's going to be a half a car length gap. 3 cars under a blanket as they come through 3 and 4.
Well, look at this single file for the top 3 right now. Moore, Crowder, and Michael still running single file as we now got 2 laps to go. You would think that Crowder is going to make his move. He's going to duck to the inside of Moore right now. They are going to run side by side. The 87 of Justin Michael. He's on the outside as well. He's going to try and do the crossover. He does the crisscross. They're going to go side by side for a second. Here comes Michael on the inside of Crowder.
Popsicle sticks in the air last time by. It's going to be white flag in the air for Greg Mall. Crowder into the wall. Crowder into the wall, coming into 3 and out of 4. That's going to allow Justin Michael into 2nd. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be about 0.3 of a second, half a second between Greg Mall and Justin Michael. I think he's got this win in hand. White flag at the line last time by, into 2 and out of 2. Down to the back straightaway for the final time. Greg Mall, your winner at California. He's going to go for 2 and try and go to victory lane again for the first time in 2017. Coming off of turn number 4, the Go Bowling 200 is going to go to the 12 of Greg Mall.
Wow, what a race, what a finish. You gotta feel sorry for Crowder. The crisscross from Justin Michael and slight contact. Crowder ended up in the wall in turns number 2. And there we have it. Look, what a superb race. Congratulations to Greg Mall. But I tell you what, Aaron Bennett as well from 30th to 4th, and Michael Wade will round out the top 5. What a race we just witnessed.
Greg Mall's going to burn it down on the front straightaway, along with, looks like Justin Michael's going to celebrate with him too. Greg Mall gets win number 2 on the season. He picks up a good point stay with Jamie Walker in the 17 machine, pulls in 8th. So he's going to pick up a few points, a 24-point gap between the two. And he's also, looks like, going to move into 2nd in the point standings with Scott Simley not having the night he wanted in the 15th position, 1 lap down. We're going to let him celebrate. We're going to let the rest of the drivers get out and have a drink after what has been one of the most exciting USR races in a while. And we're going to catch up with your top 3 when we come back from the break. This has been the USR Truck Series at Kansas, the Go Bowling 200 here on LSRTV.
It was more than impressive, I have to say. I mean, the track is identical to the real track. I was blown away how realistic it is. Every little bump, every little spray paint, everything is exactly like you're there at the track. It was a great experience.
This is a warm-up lap now. Tires to get warmed up. The engine. Breathe a little bit here when you go through that little bump there. And then it's flat pretty much all the way through here, just about. On braking. This is the slowest part of the track. And then I've done, I did many races in Formula 3, Formula 2. And then I did the very last race they did there in Group C in 1983 in the 956 Porsche. That's when Beloff got the lap record at the 6:11. I think I was second on the grid with the 6:14 or something, which was, those cars were awesome around there, of course, like any car is, that speed. This is the corner of all corners here, the Schwedenkreuz. Flat all the way into it. And then trail brake all the way into the apex here. And then hard at it again to get good speed down the hill here. Mega fast down this hill here. Just jump from one apex to the next. Gotta be super precise here.
It's almost exactly like the real thing. So, it is certainly realistic enough to get past the very, a lot of the initial hurdles you have when you try to learn to drive a race car, So, I think it's an excellent tool to learn how to race for sure, or learn to drive a car on a racetrack.
Back here live at Kansas, one of the best finishes we've seen from the USR Truck Series in quite a while. Greg Mall walks away with a victory by half a second over Justin Michael and Ashton Crowder. Before we talk to Greg Mall, your winner, we're going to talk to a few of your drivers, including Ashton Crowder in the number in the 27. But first, haven't done this in a while for LSRTV, we're going to do your full race rundown. The 12 of Greg Mall is your winner. As I said, Justin Michael in second. Ashton Crowder in third, Aaron Bennett in fourth. Michael White comes home with a fifth-place finish after a choking down of the restart. He still comes home in fifth. Riley Thompson in sixth. Jason Jacoby in seventh. A tough pill to swallow yet again for Jamie Walker in the eighth spot. Michael Waters in ninth. Seth Fowdy in 10th.
Yeah, 11th went to the 95. Jeffrey Ford, 12th was Robin Gillenwater, and he was the last car on the lead lap. Then went back to Christopher Hello, one lap down. He was in 30th, followed by Shane Hother, Scott Simley, Chris Cabot, Stephen Haring. We go back to the 18th of Dylan Phillips, Bobby Terrell, and Justin Kleber, and that is the 20th car on the track.
Ricky Howe Jr. in 21st. 22nd, Randy Tesser. A couple of these drivers involved in that big wreck just past halfway, or just before halfway. The 39 of Dwayne Dunn, 2 laps down in 23rd. Ryan Steinbackers in the 79 comes home in 24th, 12 laps down, wrecked from the lead. 25th, Joshua Suki was also involved in that wreck, 16 laps down in 25th. Michael Priester, Michael Warren, George Hendricks in 28th, Michael Atkins Jr. 29th, Jeff Ryan in 30th. Scott Formosa in the 80 machine comes home in 31st, 32nd is Brian Cutt, Louis Robinette in 33rd, and rounding out your field is Ralph Vandervoorts in the 66. Well, after 133 laps of racing, I've caught up in victory lane with the driver of the 12 machine. Second time I've talked to him this season, and he comes home in a great fashion. Greg Mall, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That was a very interesting race. Didn't really have the best starting position one could really ask for, but we were able to kind of keep it around the top 10 area throughout the starting stint of the race, and was just slowly able to work our way up through various means, whether it be on the racetrack or on pit road. I mean, we had a pretty decent night on pit road, and I mean, just was in the right place at the right time when it was all said and done. So there's not much more I could really ask of for myself.
There's a couple moments where you had to breathe a sigh of relief. First on that restart, that final start of the night, you saw the 48. He just did not go off the restart, and you were able to power by him after he just was caught sleeping there on the green flag. And then a couple laps later, Ashton Crowder running you down, actually gets around you, but then gets a little bit tight and runs up the racetrack, and you end up pulling away. That had to be a great feeling both times.
Yeah, absolutely. That restart, I just, the logistics were kind of just, they were shaken up a little bit, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah,
but,
with the 79 smoking there on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, and I mean, that was that definitely threw a loop for everybody, I think, and because especially with that restart and trying not to pass anybody to get black flags or anything like that. And I mean, I think there was a few people that ended up getting it, but getting caught with a black flag for passing there on the restart. But I mean, that isn't the first time that's happened that I've ever experienced, anyways, where something like that or something similar to that happening. So thing that I thought of was iRacing was telling me to stay behind. I think that was the 56, and I was just following directions at that point, and I mean I was able to get past everybody, and yeah, I mean Ashton was hunting us down there pretty quick, and I was wondering if we were gonna run out of laps, and I just figured eyesight's where to be, and I just caught him. Got a little bit of type there coming out of 2, and I think that next 3 and 4 on that lap, he was just got caught up in the wall. So I think at that point it was pretty much smooth sailing to the checkered flag.
All right, Greg, you end up getting win number 2 on the year. Who helped you get here? Before we let you go, final thanks to the team and any sponsors who got you here.
Absolutely. Of course, want to thank the teammates at Young Guns. I noticed that Aaron got a pretty good P4 finish tonight. I think Jamie got burnt a little bit on that caution there for some odd reason, but we can determine that later on. I gotta thank the painter, Justin Michael, for giving me a great looking truck tonight, the Black Rifle Coffee Chevy. It was certainly fast tonight, and gotta thank the friends and family back home that are watching, and gotta thank them for all their support. So, and of course, gotta thank you guys. You guys are doing a great job in the booth as always. So.
Greg, you mentioned congratulations, first of all, on your second win of the year. As I said, you mentioned your painter, Justin Michael. He ends up coming home in second, and Brett Wheeler is caught up with him.
Yeah, thanks, Gabe. I am standing here with the second place finish, the cut of 87 of Justin Michael. Justin, congratulations on finishing second here tonight.
Thanks, Brett. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Look, I guess second after the night that you had, you were practicing ninth, you qualified 11th, you were mid-pack. There was quite a few times early on in the race where you were sort of 2 and 3 wide with the guys up front. Talk a bit about that battle there in the early parts of this race.
I mean, you just kind of got to make whatever moves you can on newer tires, because after about 4 or 5 laps, you just get in single file and you just got to make somebody mess up or hope they mess up to get by them. And so if you don't make your move, you're not going to go anywhere. So it was fun racing the 3 wide. That 3 wide pass for second with Ashton and the 17, I forget his name. But I wish it would have panned out so we could have kept on going. But unfortunately, that yellow came out.
Yeah, talk about that yellow. Obviously we had our first one at, I think, about a lap 45, 46, somewhere around there. Obviously, we've seen quite a few cautions come after that due to that first caution. Does that affect your rhythm in any way, shape, or form after you had such a long green flag run?
It definitely does. I mean, once you get in that rhythm, you're just clicking off the laps, trying to reel people in and have some strategy. And I mean, I think I was one of the only people happy for that first yellow because if it would have went green the whole way, Greg would have still won, but we would have had to make another pit stop because I think he was good till the end. So I think he would have made one less pit stop than everybody. So.
What goes through your mind on that last caution? You got the leader who was smoking, going towards a pit lane. The Greg kind of got away from you there a little bit there. You and Ashton, you were virtually nearly pushing Ashton down the straightaways to try and reel him in. A little bit of unfortunate contact came between you and Ashton. What goes through your mind on that initial restart? When there's about 10 or 11 to go. And Greg gets such a big lead.
You're just thinking you got to do everything you can to reel him back in, and I know I was pushing Ashton. I know we had some net code. We already talked about it. And, everything's cool, nothing intentional, but we had a little net code and sent him into the wall. But I was just my whole plan was to ride behind whoever was in front of me and just force them to make a mistake. Just kind of make them maybe make them go into the turn a little harder, or make them watch their mirror and they miss the entry or the exit to just get by and pick up another spot. But I don't know if we could have got past Greg if we would have got to him or not, but it sure would have been interesting.
I'll tell you what, you've had a pretty good start to the series so far. This is your 8th start. This is your 5th top 10, your 3rd top 5. You've already had one win in the series. How critical is it to gain these points, especially going forward towards this championship?
It definitely very critical, and let's go ahead and fix the stats a little bit. I do have 2 wins, but the one doesn't show up, so I won Phoenix backwards. But it definitely every point counts when you're going into the chase, and even more so the last 10 races or however many races the chase is. So just trying to my main goal obviously is to win, but I want to at least be in the top 3 going into the final couple races.
All right, man. Well, look, congratulations on the 2nd place. I'm sure you got some people and some sponsors you want to give a shout out to.
Yeah, just everybody out there watching the broadcast, everybody out there watching my stream at twitch.tv/SimTVNation. You can also check us out on YouTube at SimTVNation. Streaming, 3-4 times a week, most likely. I'm a little under the weather, so hasn't been much streaming the past week or two, but I figured I'd come out and race this since it's a points night. So I'm going to go drink some NyQuil, and I'm going to go to bed.
All right, man. Well done on your 2nd place.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Gabe, there we have it. Justin Michael coming home in 2nd place after starting a good night for him going forward in the championship.
Yes, he did. Justin Michael comes home in 2nd, and the person who comes home in 3rd, I've caught up with him down on pit road, Ashton Crowder. Josh Berry Racing, number 27. You come home in 3rd after a little bit of contact, but you still come home with a great finish. We all thought you were going to run Greg Maul down there for a second, but just didn't happen.
Yeah, Greg was insanely fast on that last run. I think if Justin may not have gotten underneath me, I think I would have had something else for Greg. Obviously, don't know that for sure. Didn't get the chance to really see that, but had a good truck all night. Just a little bit of contact at the end there, kind of put us back in position, but can't be mad with 3rd.
I was going to say, you were kind of racing side by side with Jamie Walker there for majority of the first half of the race, and you seemed to have a better car than him on the long run. That had to put a smile on your face to see him get stuck in traffic when you guys were 11th and 12th on one of the restarts. You were able to move up through the field, and you got up front faster. Did you think you had the win in hand?
No, in USR, really never think I have a win in my hand at all. Really, almost everybody in here is basically the same speed as me, and a good amount of people are actually faster than me, so just try to do my best each week, and obviously had a pretty fast track tonight, so yeah.
All right, Ashton, well, I'm going to let you celebrate that podium position here. One more thing, any family sponsors, guys who get it done for you on top of the pit box or in the garage area, want to thank before we let you go?
I got Extreme Racing Series, JDRF, Racer Boost, Graphic Solutions, The Drill Spill, It's Real, Ian Plash. My grandparents watching downstairs, my mom up in Virginia right now, Riley Thompson, my teammate, Seth Fowdy for running The Drill Spill stuff this week, Jason Jacoby as well, and then my spotter, DJ Lion, did an awesome job tonight. He really helped us get the truck up to the front, and yeah, it's really good.
All right, Ashton, well, congratulations on your third, and good luck in the next round, round number 9 in Charlotte. Should be a good race for you, another 1.5 miles. Hopefully you can get another win on the year. You did win in Atlanta, so you're pretty good on the 1.5 miles.
We can hope we can have a good week tomorrow, or next week.
All right, Ashton, yet again, congratulations, and throw it up to Brett one more time. Throw it up to Brett to final thoughts.
It was interesting race to start off with. Obviously, we had Jamie Walker and Ashton Crowder, certainly the two dominant cars early on in the race. A couple of cautions, and especially a couple of late cautions, kind of threw everything up in a bunch, and certainly made those guys really come back, from the mid pack. Look, great racing overall. 2-3 wide battles, even for the lead. Now, I'll tell you what, those last probably 3 or 4 laps were very intense, especially contact between Crowder and Michael. As Michael said, bit of net code. It's just one of them deals that happened. And look, congratulations to Greg Moll, deserving winner of tonight's race.
Yeah, I want to say something on top of that. Whenever you have races like this where drivers are getting 2 and 3 wide, you usually see a bunch of cautions from that. But tonight, we really saw just single-car incidents, really, and a few bigger wrecks, but that was just side-by-side racing. We went 3 wide, and we did not have a caution from it all night. So they did a very good job of holding their lines, and I'm excited to go back to Charlotte here if I'm going to be up in the booth. I may just watch the broadcast if not, because it's going to be one heck of a race. And you should, too, here on LSRTV next week in Charlotte. We'll be back for the USR Truck Series, presented by B&C Lawnscaping. On behalf of me, Gabriel Wood, Brett Wheeler, I'd like to thank him for coming into the booth tonight. As always, Cisco Scaramuza down in the production hauler, getting the picture you see to you. This has been the USR Truck Series Go Bowling 200 live from Kansas. Good night. We'll see you next week.